book. Book. Okay, we're going to read this book. It's the one you wanted. Here we go. Ready? In the Situation Room, there was a toy world and a flight costume and a picture of a refinery plume. And there were war profiteers giving 3 cheers. A nation great, a church and a state, a pair of towers, and a balance of powers. A grand old party to war in a rush, and a quiet Dick Cheney whispering hush. Good night, room. Good night, refinery plume. Good night, jets flying over the plume. Good night, toy world and the flight costume. Good night, ballot box. Thank you, Marie. Good night, fox. Good night, towers. And good night, balance of powers. Good night, Constitution. And good night, evolution. Good night, democracy. And good night, privacy. Good night, old growth trees. Good night, detainees. Good night, allies. Good night, Abu Ghraib cheese. Good night, contractor beheading. Good night, innocent bloodshedding. Good night, nation great. And good night, church and state. Good night, bubble bursting in air. And good night, piggy beyond repair. Good night, rule of law. Good night, Mardi Gras. Good night, grand old party. Good night, war in a rush. And good night to Dick Cheney whispering hush. Good night, earth. Good night, air. Good night, failures